Okay guys, today is either really nasty or really nice. It depends on your train of thought. This is one of my favorite things to do, so I just thought it'd be great to share with you. Now I have all the tricks of the trade here. I have all the tools, so I realize that not all of you do at home. If you've got a foam roller, perfect. If you have a trigger ball, perfect. This is rock solid. There's no sponginess in this. It's pretty nasty. So I'm going to show you sort of what's nasty to nice. The foam roller is the nicest thing. So it's actually got a little bit of sponge in it. It's quite nice to roll on. So we're going to do some myofascial release today, which is just easing out through the muscles. So that is your easiest thing. Next one would be this spiky ball. Believe it or not, it is actually nicer than this hard one. And the reason being is the size. So a smaller surface area, it's going to be a bit more trigger pointy. This is a larger surface area, so it's not going to feel quite so bad. Okay. Then I have another little tool here, which I sometimes will put a dowel rod through, and then I'll do sort of self-massage here. Now this one's a bit specific. I don't expect everyone to have it, but it's a great little tool to have. If you don't have this, I've just gone into my kitchen and grabbed myself a rolling pin. This is brutal, but it will do the same job, okay? So you're going to be rolling out all the tight spots in your muscles. So let's give it a go. Tennis ball, rolling pin. If you don't have any tricks of the trade, this is all you need. So we're going to start off at the bottom of our body with the tennis ball. So away we go. We're going to have a few runaways here. I can see this. So you're going to get the tennis ball and just place it underneath your foot and then give it a bit of a roll out. So you'll release any tension, any tightness from underneath the foot. So that's as good as it gets, unless you want to get a golf ball. Now that's pretty brutal. The other option that you could do for this would be a water bottle, like a plastic water bottle. You could fill it with ice. Fill it with water, put it in the freezer, and then you're rolling like a nice ice. So if you do get pretty inflamed underneath here, then that is a really nice option to get some ice and roll it onto the foot. So just getting in any tight spots. Now I do actually have dodgy feet, so I'm going to really give it some with this nasty one. The rolling pin, you could be rolling underneath your foot at the moment. So give the rolling pin a go. So get into those bits of your feet. I'm not going to do this for too long because for some of you, you might not have tight spots. You might be getting really bored thinking this is doing nothing for me. So let's change feet. You could always forward if you're finding that you don't have any nasty spots underneath your feet. You're very lucky if you don't. Ouchie, ouch. So how this works, it's a little bit like acupressure. So if ever you've gone for a massage and they dig their thumb into your muscles, they dig a thumb in and it's really super tight and they keep it there. And then after a time, you feel that muscle just easing off. So how that works is it kind of sends messages back through Golgi tendons. So it sends messages back to the brain, basically asking the muscles to release. And that's what happens. So this is why this is great to do before a workout. So you're not doing a workout with tight muscles, and also after a workout. So if you're tight, I would just do it whenever. Watching telly, I've got one of these indoors and one of these indoors. So right by the sofa they live. Cool. So that's your feet. I'm moving on. Feel free to stay there for longer if you need to. Calves. Now I would get in with a smallish ball or a tennis ball. I'm going to do two in one. Oh, no, I can't. Rolling away too much. So you would want to get into your calves. Now the easy option would be to do this on your foam roller because it's not quite so nasty. The hard version is what I'm doing here, which is kind of rolling. And you can see I'm moving around the muscle. I'm not just staying through the center of the back of my leg. I'm rolling around the outside because my calves are three-dimensional and I've got some nasty tight spots down the side there. And then through the center, and then I'm going to roll through the other side. Now, if you're doing this with a ball and your calves are screaming and you do have a foam roller, then this is the other option for you, placing the foot on, the calf on, and then rolling. Now, if that's too easy, you can make it harder by putting extra pressure with the other leg just pushing on top. So there you've got your calves. Now, of course, we can go into our hamstrings exactly the same way as our calves. We are just going to go further up the leg. So hamstrings, this doesn't really do anything for me, I'll be honest. One leg over the other, see if it does anything. If it does, great, stay on it, pause me. If it doesn't, then move on. IT bands, now these are pretty nasty. I'm sure all of us are going to feel this one. So you are going to place your side of your hip onto this foam roller. So not the actual hip bone itself, but just below. And then roll with a straight leg down the bottom there until you can feel some nasty sore bits. Just make sure you're on the side of your leg. You're not on your back side. You're not on the front, you're on the side, but just have a little move forwards and backwards and see if you can get some spots. So I roll fairly regularly, so this roller isn't doing it for me. So keep rolling if it is. What would probably do it for me is nasty rolling pin. Oh yeah. Or a tennis ball. Oh, but this is good. So this is getting the spots. So hold in on any tight spots. If it is too painful, you have this leg here, which you can push into the floor and like lift your body off a little bit. So if you're finding that all of your body weight on that roller is agony, then you can do that. You can also help lift off with your upper body a bit. So you're going to roll all the way along the outside of your leg. Stop where it's sore. Try not to sort of roll forwards and backwards on it. So I see people quite often and they'll be rocking forwards and back. That's just going to kind of irritate it a little bit. Just stay on that spot and wait for it to ease off. So try the other leg out. And you could also give it a go with a tennis ball. And that's getting some spots. So that's pretty good. So again, smaller surface area gets in there more. So that rolling pin was quite a large flat surface area. It's pretty hard, so it was tough. But this ball is actually hitting more spots than the rolling pin, believe it or not. So just allowing any spot. So I've got one right here, so I'm going to stay on it until it eases off. Feel free to keep rolling all the way down your leg until you get to just above your knee. You don't want to be rolling on your actual knee itself. Do you remember when I first started doing this? I was like a pregnant lady giving birth. I was like... So if that's you right now, don't worry, it does get easier. The more you roll out, the easier it gets. If you are in extreme agony, then you need to do this. If you're in extreme agony, you need to keep doing this because it means that you are just really, really tight. If you're in mild agony, it's not so bad. If you can kind of roll and talk at the same time like I can, then you're pretty good. So it's a work in progress. You need to keep doing this. I haven't done it in a few days and part of me has tightened up. And I could feel it this morning, and this is why I decided to do this rolling, is my back was feeling a bit niggly this morning and my butt. And I just thought, I've not stretched out with these rollers in a while and I need to. So listening to your body, when you feel niggly, there's probably a reason. It's probably because you're too tight. So it's a good idea to get your muscles loosened off. All right, bum. This is one of my areas that I did this morning. So again, you can get a tennis ball. Foam roller's nicer, but if you sit on a tennis ball or lying's easier because you don't have quite so much pressure going through, but you can sit and kind of just roll around until you get some spots in your butt. The other option is to have your foot, so if it's underneath my left butt cheek here, My left foot is over in a stretch. So I'm now sort of opening that area out for a better, don't know what the word is, better dig in, I guess, with that ball. So that is easy, obviously, because you've got the ball just rolling around. It's easy enough to get yourself in position. I'll show you what you can do with your rolling pin or foam roller. It's exactly the same. You would just be sat on it, then taking that leg over the top, then leaning to that side so that you can kind of roll forwards and backwards. You're not going to get in as deep as you would with a ball, but you'll still feel it. So for those of you that are tight, you will still feel that. So there is your butt. Now the rest of your body. Upper body gets a good workout as well. So foam roller or rolling pin, you are going to place your palm up towards the ceiling and just behind the shoulder, the armpit, and before the shoulder blade, there should be a nasty little spot that will sort of give you a bit of aggro. So find that spot and hold it. Again, I do this quite regularly. So I'm going to go for the nasty option of getting a deeper little roll there by getting the ball. And so there, that's my spot. So find where the spot is and hold it there. Oh, okay, this one's sore. Oh. So just hold it until it eases out. If you need to move on to the other side, then do. I think this is the worst of them. Everyone's different though. So we've all got tight spots in different places. All right. Other side. So get that palm up to the ceiling, ball just kind of here, okay? So the shoulder blades, the edge of the shoulder blade is there. I'm just coming inside of the shoulder blade, not underneath my actual armpit, but kind of just on the back of it. So that is where you're heading with this one. Or until you find a spot. If you're not finding a spot, then you haven't found it yet. This one, I don't think anyone can escape a bit of a sore spot underneath the old armpit. So we're getting and loosening off through the arm area. Now, most of us are rounded forwards. We get pretty tight through here. Good. Keep holding. All right. You could probably hold this one for ages. I'm going to move on, but I could definitely hold this for longer as well. So pause if you need to. I'm going to keep going so I can show you everything. The next one we're going to work through are our quads. So the fronts of our thighs and through into the hip. Now, the foam roller is probably your best bet for this one, maybe even your rolling pin. You're going to come over the top and roll. Now, I find this really easy when I've got both my legs on it. I don't really feel it at all. So then I'm going to roll onto one leg and place the other leg over the top to add as extra resistance, and then roll all the way down. So if you find some nasty wee spots, then hold it. If you don't, you're rolling all the way down to just above the knee and then going over to the other side. So again, pause if you've found some spots. Otherwise, moving over to the other leg and rolling it out. And again, you could do this with your tennis ball. That would be fairly nasty. You could also do it with your rolling pin. You wouldn't want to put as much pressure through. Cool. And then hip flexor. It's a really nice opportunity to get a stretch through here. Now, using the foam roller or your rolling pin, probably wouldn't use a ball for this one because we're going to get in quite deep. You are going to lie over the front, and the area that we're trying to get is through here. So you know those stringy bits that you can kind of feel sometimes, feels like you're going to play a guitar or something. That's what we're aiming to get here. So I'm going to roll over, so I'm just on the one leg, then bring that foot in to increase the stretch and kind of get into that spot. So if you're really tight through the hip flexors, you'll feel this. If you're not, you might not. So you should be able to feel this anyway without that stretch, but it does just increase it. So that's the one side. I'll do the other side on the rolling pin. So you'd be through the front there, find that spot, pull the back leg in towards you and just roll where you can feel the tightness through the front of the hip. Nice. And then my favorite stretch of all time, it's not foam rolling really, it's more of a stretch, is to take the foam roller or roll up a towel or a pool noodle will go underneath you, or roll up a rug so that it's like this. Place your body, your spine along your rug or your foam roller, and then just let the arms drop back. So for those of you that are really tight, you might want to have the hands straight and you'll still feel that stretch through the chest. For those of you that aren't quite so tight, I would have the palms up towards the ceiling and your hands in the surrender position, and just let the elbows and the hands drop down to the floor. Now you could hold this for a good 2 minutes and it would be a lovely stretch at the end of the day. Think about nodding the chin in towards the chest as well and relaxing it there. And then we have one more thing. This is for really tight shoulders, which I'm sure we all have. Getting your tennis ball or one of your rolling pin would sort of work, but your tennis ball is going to be better to maneuver around. You're going to place it onto the wall, and then just like a cow rubbing up against a fence, you're going to get that tennis ball into the upper trap area and just dig it in there. So find the spots that are really sore and just have a nice little sit here. It's beautiful. You can also, so once you've done that on both sides, you can also kind of get in between your shoulder blades with this one. So if you lie on your back on the ground and place this just between the shoulder blades and just rock around. So find some spots between the shoulder blade and the spine and just kind of dig in. Get a nice little massage. So self-massage at home. Good, so that's one side for me. And get into the other side. So a lot of it's trying to get in the right place. Nice. And get your arm in the right position as well to feel that. Lovely. So that's got a really good spot there. Just going to let that sit and trigger off. Nice. So hopefully you will feel amazing after doing this little session. So really all you need is a tennis ball. That's all you need. Or a golf ball, that would be brutal though. Or a rolling pin. So I hope you've learned a little bit and your body feels all relaxed and stretched and amazing after this. Let me know how you got on. Comment below. Let me know what you used as well. Just make sure your pain threshold can cope with it.